I'm here with George and Viva again today for this beautiful lesson they have to share. Sometimes we think we failed, but the truth is we've succeeded in so many ways. And the trick is to just change our perspective. When I came here the other day, I came from this direction, and my intuition and conversation with George told me that this was his feminine counterpart. I found that curious because I was facing this direction. And normally the masculine would be on this side and the feminine would be on this side in order for the energy to exchange properly. So as I was in my mind asking this question, like how can that be her? And he said, the east is this direction. Just because you're over here seeing us from this angle doesn't mean you're truly seeing the right perspective. So they told me to come over here. And they said, from the east in this direction shines the light of the sun, of the soul, onto them. So now you see that the masculine is here and the feminine is here. And all I had to do was change my perspective and recognize that just because I see and experience things a certain way doesn't mean it's the only right way. It doesn't mean that there's not a perspective that's more in alignment with myself than maybe I had considered before. And that our losses and what we consider to be failures are not always that. They leave scars behind to help us grow and become stronger. That every day that we go out into the world and we look for connection and we find connection, that is success. And just because we feel like we've had a failure doesn't mean we have. It just means that things weren't meant to go the way that we thought in our mind. And the way of earth is to have a strong foundation within. But we have to balance with the way of water and being able to discern what our intuition is telling us, not hang on to things, not be stubborn and stuck in a particular mindset, and to be able to go with the flow, to constantly keep moving and to be reading the signs and patterns around us to indicate which direction we are meant to move in. Because once you stop and you don't move and you refuse to move and you're in stagnation, that is when you are dying. So we have to keep moving. We have to go with the flow. We have to let go of what doesn't serve us, whether it's people, situations, careers, mindsets, religions, belief systems, political belief systems. All of these things, we get stuck and start to identify with them and think that that's the only way. But the truth is, the right way is whenever you merge with the universe and follow its path of alignment while forging your own path in the world. Even in death, life begins anew. It's never the end. And even when you think it is, it's actually just beginning. I asked George and Viva the name of their family member. I feel like it's a son, and they said Samuel. So I looked up Samuel, and it means God has heard. I was a little bit confused as to what that meant. I couldn't figure out how to apply that name to the lessons that they have been teaching me. And as I was just getting ready to leave, I was saying goodbye, and I remembered Samuel's name. And I remembered the meaning. And they said to me, God has heard. You humans have a saying, if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, did it make a noise? So God has heard indicates that God heard the noise when he fell. And that God witnesses our greatness as we walk this mother. And whether anyone else sees our light and our greatness, God does. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters.